to Cheap Shot Double Take. This is the greatest, the latest, the best, or quite possibly the worst online talk show you'll ever see. Yours truly, JC. Along with me, we got
John.
And we're here to bring topics from all types of news, sports, pop culture. Who knows what it is? We'll talk about it. We don't care. We got a lot of opinions. We're here to share them. So leading us off today, we're going to start out in Lakerland. Who doesn't love to talk about LeBron James? And so my question to John here is, LeBron was flopping around like a fish last week or earlier this week because he didn't get a call against the Celtics. So my question is, the call was wrong, but does that justify flopping around like a fish?
Absolutely not. It's borderline embarrassing for a grown man, let alone a 38-year-old, to be flopping around like a fish, crying like a baby, on his hands and knees, praying almost to get this call after the game was over.
Yes.
It's just, well, actually, no, it was the end of regulation.
It was he still had a chance to win the game.
End of regulation. So you still get to go back and play. It wasn't like it was the end of the game. So that makes it even worse. It makes you look like a big old baby.
Now, I get it. Makes perfect sense. I mean, LeBron James, but people don't like LeBron. So maybe that's just bias. So let me ask you another question. As a lifelong Laker fan, Kobe Bryant, the top of your pedestal.
Yeah.
How did watching the best player on the current version of the Lakers, a team that is underwhelming completely, how does it make you feel to watch them run around like a child who just had his lunch when he taken from him? How did it make you feel?
It made me feel like I was watching Chris Paul and the Clippers from years ago.
Chris Paul and the Clippers.
It doesn't even look like the purple and gold to me. They're one of the better franchises in the league. They have no business acting like that. This isn't the Sacramento Kings. You've won a bunch of championships. You got banners up there. You got players' jerseys retired. There's no business just running around like chickens with your head cut off, crying and whining about calls, especially bringing out cameras and showing the refs.
Who doesn't love Pat Bev? I don't love Pat Bev. I think he sucks.
No one does.
Yeah, I can't stand him. He's an embarrassment to the Lakers jersey, the Lakers dynasty, the Lakers legend. He's just an embarrassment in general. But I don't want to dwell on that because we could go all day about how much LeBron, AD, and Darvin Ham, Pat Bev, Austin Reeves, how all of them embarrass us as Laker fans. So we're not going to stay on that. Let's move on forward. We have plenty to talk about. Let's jump to the NFL. One of those polarizing figures in the NFL is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Bleepin' Rodgers, as some call him. Now, could be anywhere. He could stay in Packerland. He could go to Indianapolis. He could go to Vegas. Maybe he comes to Carolina. I don't think so. Maybe he comes to Carolina. But my question to you is, one, where should he go? Or two, where do you think he will go?
Okay, so there are actually two separate answers to that.
I agree.
Where should he go? I think if the option presents itself, you definitely go to San Francisco. Was he born in San Francisco? I think he was.
He played in California for college. I'm not sure where he was born.
I think he was born in California, California kid.
Yeah.
Why not? They've got every weapon you could possibly want.
We do.
You got Christian McCaffrey. You've got Debo. You've got Ayuk, who had a breakout year. You've got Kittle.
A breakout year.
You've got Elijah Mitchell on that roster also, when he's healthy.
25% of the year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you might as well go. Their defense is really good also.
Very good.
Does their coach know how to win the big game? That's yet to be seen.
He does not.
But
that's Tom Brady, he'll tell you.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think that's the no-brainer. You've got to go if it presents itself.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think he is going to be, I think he's going to end up with the New York Jets.
Oh.
You hired Nathaniel Hackett.
I'm not going there, but I get it.
The Broncos tried it, didn't work. They got Russ, and they're terrible, and then you got fired. So the Jets said, great idea. Let's bring Hackett in. So does that make sense for Rodgers? I don't think so. There's a bunch of young players, and apparently he doesn't want to work with young players. But
if he likes following in Brett Favre's footsteps, that's where he'll go.
It does make perfect sense. He'll end up in Minnesota eventually.
My opinion, it's very simple. I don't think you should go to either one of those spots. I think you should go home. I think you should retire. What's the point? What's left to prove? You've already proven you're going to flop in the playoffs. You've already proven you can only win the big one, your first couple years in the league of actually being a starter. So do you really have anything else to prove? No, because you're not going back to a Super Bowl. You're not taking a franchise that's close to winning and making them winning. You're not out-dueling Patrick Mahomes. You're not out-dueling Joe Burrow. You're not going to out-duel Josh Allen. So there's no point in going to the AFC. The NFC, you're probably not better than Brock Purdy. So, in my opinion, just back it up. I mean, I wouldn't want to give up $60 million, but for me, your legacy's set. You're one of the most talented quarterbacks that could never really win big. Hey, take that, enjoy it. It's great. You've made a lot of money. You can date all the pretty girls you want to date. Just retire. That's enough. To me, that's enough for me. Just retire. That's good enough. Nobody really needs you. Hope you love that. And if you love Aaron Rodgers, you probably won't, but let's be real. How many fans does he really have? Not many. Probably just Pat McAfee. So anyway, moving forward, we're going to go on to a topic that's been very popular here the last couple of weeks, and I think it's just a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of people just get a little too crazy into conspiracy theories. The question I have, and everybody's having is the NFL rigged? And if you think it is, give me a reason why, and tell me how in the hell they're going to rig an NFL game outside of just having the refs all in on it.
First of all, if you think that the chain of command that it has to go through to rig an NFL game without anyone knowing it could possibly happen, you're smoking something. Because
probably going to be really good.
Yeah, because it's ridiculous. There's no possible way. You have to think about all the people that would have to know about this. I mean, you have to tell all the people at the TV stations what's going to happen, but they can't tell anyone. Somehow, some way, someone's going to find out if it's rigged. I mean, there's no way that you could possibly keep it a secret, and I don't think it's feasible.
If you're telling me that they can figure out that the New England Patriots were deflating footballs, but people can't figure out that the NFL is rigging games, get out of here. If they're rigging games, we'd already know about it. Adam Schefter would have tweeted it, Ian Rappaport would have agreed with him, and everybody would have said the games were rigged. But guess what? That hasn't happened. It's just a bunch of hearsay, and these people that keep posting these stupid videos on TikTok and everything else about the game is rigged, you need to stop. You look like morons. You look like sad, pitiful little fans that are morons. I'm sorry. You post back-to-back Joe Burrow's intentional grounding, and then you show Patrick Mahomes' intentional grounding. Two totally different plays. Patrick Mahomes was not intentional grounding. Joe Burrow's was. Game wasn't rigged. Get over yourselves.
Piss poor fans.
Piss poor fans. Actually, you're just not even fans. You're just stupid. Sorry. But you are. Stupid. Whew. That just pissed me off. That's just dumb.
You got a little heated.
I did a little. That's okay. Bringing it back down. We have another segment here. It's actually my favorite segment. It's called Hated or Loved of the Week. One of us is going to love something. One of us, they're going to hate something. We never know which one's going to be which. So, we'll find out. So, John, are you hating or are you loving this week?
I'm hating.
Sweet, I like it.
I'm going to hate.
I like hate. Not real hate, but I like a little
I'm going to go back to a subject we've already touched on and elaborate a little bit. The Los Angeles Lakers. I hate them right now. I hate everything about it. From the top down. I hate it. You've got what some people would say is the greatest of all time. I wouldn't. Some people would. You've got Anthony Davis, one of the better bigs in the league. Some people would say the best. I wouldn't. He can't stay on the court. You've got a TV show character in Patrick Beverly. Because that's all he is.
Yes.
He runs around and gets exercise.
That guy. Whew.
And then you've got Darvin Ham, who... do we even know if he can coach? We'll never know because LeBron's on the roster.
We don't know, but what we do know, not to interrupt, We do know that he will whine and complain about a bad call just like LeBron and AD.
Exactly what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
You've got Patrick Beverly walking out with cameras showing the refs that it was a foul. Sit down and shut up.
Facts.
You've got Anthony Davis whining and moaning about we got screwed and they need to get fined. Sit down and shut up.
Facts.
You can't even get on the floor half the time anyway, so you have nothing to complain about. And now you're never going to get any calls because you're complaining about the refs.
Put your street clothes back on.
Chris Paul tried it, and guess what? He's still never winning playoff games because of it.
Yep.
I mean, you've got your coach is over here whining and crying. Your best player is flopping around, whining, complaining, throwing his hands in the air, making posts on Instagram talking about how bad it hurt. You are 38 years old and have been in the league forever. You go to the finals every other season. Why are you complaining about a game that doesn't even matter?
It should have hurt a lot more when they blew the series to the Mavs back in, 2011?
It should have.
That should have hurt a heck of a lot more than that loss.
It should have. But this game, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't matter. It's in the regular season. And he never complains about anything, ever, right?
Never. He's so nice. Just a humble, nice guy.
It's time to stop. It's time for the Lakers to sit down and look in the mirror and say, this isn't Sacramento. This isn't the Hornets. This isn't some franchise that has been here for a few years and never won anything. It's the Los Angeles Lakers. You lost to the Celtics. Big whoop. It was a close game. They missed a call. It happens in every game. You shouldn't have been in that position to begin with if you have those players on your roster.
Let me add one thing. Rob Pelinka, your best friend, our favorite player, Kobe Bryant, ask yourself what he would have thought about that action at the end of a game. That tells you all you need to know about your franchise right now. What would Kobe think? You know what he would think.
Soft.
Sharman. Soft. Yep, that's good hate. That's good hate. It's okay. You can be hateful sometimes if it's directed in the right way. Now, I'm going to throw the flip side. I'm going to love some, because who doesn't love love? I'm going to go away. Well, I'm going to go to sports entertainment because, it's a interesting thing. Some people love it. Some people think it's stupid. I happen to love professional wrestling. And just last night, or a couple nights ago now, I got to watch professional wrestling at its finest. The end of the Royal Rumble, not the match, the main event of the night. Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn stuck in the middle. What will he do? Who will he turn on? Who is he going to stand with? And after a brutal beatdown, he finally says, Roman, that's enough. He's had enough. And when Roman wants him to do it instead and hit Kevin Owens with a chair, what does Sami Zayn do? As conflicted as he is, he gets pie-faced a couple times by Roman, and finally he realizes, that's not my family. That's not the way I want to do my business. And he turns on Roman Reigns and the bloodline with one chair shot, much like when Seth Rollins turned on the Shield with one chair shot. And I want you to know, if you want to know what's great about professional wrestling, just listen to the people. They'll tell you that it was great wrestling because they blew the roof off the building. I haven't heard a pop like that since Stone Cold. That's the difference. That's professional wrestling. And to top it all off, you have Jey Uso in the corner, completely confused as to what to do. Do I stand with family or do I stand with my brother? My new brother, Sammy. And he walked out. It was great television. It made the Royal Rumble pay-per-view or premium live event, whatever they call them nowadays. It made it worth its while. Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, you were the top of my list. I don't care what they had to do to get you guys shots at titles. You deserve it. It was great TV. I loved it. And it makes me want to watch wrestling this week. So kudos to you. That's my love of the week. Hope you guys have enjoyed these segments. We've enjoyed giving them to you. Each week, we're going to give you a special closing argument. A closing cheap shot, you might say. Since this is Cheap Shot Double Take, we're each going to get one. John, I'm going to let you lead it off.
This one's easy. I have watched a bunch of football the last few weeks. Actually, for the last 17 weeks. Watched a lot of good football. And in the playoffs. I have never heard some of the commentating be so one-sided as watching a Chiefs game. Chris Collinsworth should be absolutely ashamed of himself. And Tony Romo should be close behind. Because every move that Patrick Mahomes made was the greatest move in the history of football.
It was.
Patrick Mahomes made a pass where it fell out of his hand and hit the ground. And I'm sure some of you have seen it, and I watched it about 20 times because I couldn't believe what I saw. It slipped out of his hand, and it hit the ground. And you've got Chris Collinsworth saying, that's a heck of a play by Mahomes. I can't fathom what heck of a play he was watching.
I thought it was amazing. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Clearly the GOAT.
Yes, GOAT.
He could drop a ball just like the best of them.
Yeah.
And then Romo the same way. We're acting like this guy is the best quarterback to ever play. Could he be eventually? Maybe. But he's not Tom Brady. Not yet. Let's slow your roll. Put a pin in that conversation and wait for the GOAT to retire, at least. Because Tom's still there. He's still playing. As of right now,
He is.
he's coming back. We don't know.
He's got another 20 years in.
He could. But let's stop with this. We're acting like this guy can do no wrong. When it wasn't even, a year ago? We were talking about he's got turnover problems. We weren't sure if he was the guy anymore. I mean, has he played really well without Tyreek Hill? Yeah, he has. And he played pretty well the last few games.
Yeah.
On a bum ankle. But who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Let's not act like he's tossing the ball to some guy off the street. He's tossed the ball to Travis Kelce, who's probably the best tight end ever. So let's not act like he's doing something that no one's ever seen before. Let's stop. Let's be at least, let's not ride him so much. I mean, my goodness.
You know who he looks like to me? Talked about him earlier. He looks like Aaron freaking Rodgers.
Who's still playing, by the way.
Yeah, that's what he looks like to me. And you see how that turned out. I agree, 1,000%.
Call it both ways.
Yeah, let's hold our horses a little on that guy.
You forgot Joe Burrow was even playing. You forgot Josh Allen was even playing.
I think they forgot they were playing too.
They did too, but still.
Yes.
Didn't even talk about him. You were talking about Mahomes when the opposing offense is on the field.
Yep.
Let's just quit it. Knock it off. Let's call the game both ways.
Well done. I agree, 1,000%. My cheap shot, it's a little more somber. I was more directed. We recently had in Memphis another one of those acts that just make you sick to your stomach. It's one of those things, and it was 5 horrible, despicable Americans acting horribly and taking the life of another American. 5 despicable humans who deserve to be punished to the full extent of the law. What I want is the national news to call it like it is. It's 5 sorry humans taking advantage of one human and killing them. That's the news story. That's all the news story needed to be. 5 horrible people killed one American. It's not hard. I'm not asking people to say things that aren't true. Just say a true statement. That's what happened. It was horrible, it was heinous, and it must stop. What must stop? We must stop horrible humans from killing other humans. That's what needs to be fixed. So when you look at your kids and you look at your friends and family and they say, what do we need to change? Tell them that. We need to stop horrible people from killing other people. Take that for what it is. That's not political. That's nothing. That is just a factual statement. And that's what happened in Memphis. That's what happened way too often in all our cities all across this country. Terrible humans are killing Americans. Fix it. And with that, if you have anything else to add, we're going to close it down for John and JC. And that is your Cheap Shot Double Take. We'll see you next week.